Welcome, 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 everybody, to this week's episode of the Mollie Sommer Show. I am so excited for my guest to be here this week. Not only is she an inspiring woman, but she's also my bestie. So today is going to be an amazing conversation. Lisa Digeso is a photographer at Milk and Honey Photography, co-owner of the Milky Way Photographers Resource, host and producer of online retreats, podcast host of the Art and Soul Show, and a wannabe yogi, avid book buyer, and an education junkie. She is dedicated to create and empower and educate in her happiest expression of herself. And so I'm so excited to talk with her today and share with you the secrets and the pathway to heart-centered entrepreneurship and the ability to channel your creative energy into an expression of your purpose. So, as always, welcome to the show. Bring your hands and feet inside the car and enjoy the ride. All right, Lisa, you're so excited. I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Hi, friend.
I'm so excited to share your incredible energy and your magic with the Mollie Sommer Show audience. Why don't you just take a moment and share yourself a little bit with the audience?
Well, hello. Thank you for having me. I'm Lisa. I am a photographer, educator, podcaster. I am a curious cat. I love exploring and letting my curiosity just play. Honestly, I think I probably have some undiagnosed ADHD, like we've talked, but I also think that's kind of my superpower. I love being able to just explore and create, leave things better than I found them, leave people better than I found them, empower, uplift, educate, and create communities built on kindness, empathy, and just sharing and love. And that's really what I've been doing over the past 14 years.
I love that. You're so inspiring, my friend. Can you share a little bit about your journey from the beginning of your entrepreneurial career to where you are now as a multi-figure business owner?
Well, it's taken a lot of bumps in the road, as probably many of your listeners have experienced. There's not really a linear pathway to success. And I feel like there is such a misconception, and especially in the entrepreneurial industry, that it's like going to be quick, get rich quickly. And it's not. It's such a slow burn. And like my venture into entrepreneurship really started back in like the year 2000. Like I started my very own first company, which was called Festivity Creative Event Design. And I was a wedding planner and I did wedding planning, and I maybe had 3 clients in the entire existence. I spent way more than I actually made. And then my next company was designing baby t-shirts. And I got a cease and desist letter from the Beastie Boys lawyer because I didn't know anything about copyright laws. My next business was a mobile spa company. I actually went back to school and became a makeup artist and an esthetician. And I did mobile pedicures and things. And in between all of that, I did multi-level marketing. I joined all sorts of different multi-level marketing to learn business, and really I was searching for community, I think, more than anything. And it all just like, none of it really like was very successful. And then in the meantime, I was also the event coordinator for the university for a number of years and got my feet wet and really had a very stressful job of planning in-person events, trade shows, conferences. On any given weekend throughout the year, I'd have 6 weddings going on at once that I was responsible for managing and sending all the details to catering. And if you know me personally, you know I'm actually not that organized. I'm detail-oriented and I care, but I'm actually not that organized. So that, like, when my family found out I was an event planner, they were like, what is going on here? That is so not you. But my heart was bigger than like, I just wanted it to be perfect for brides. So, I mean, that experience led me to different things when it came to creating what I'm doing in my business now. Then, like, I struggled to have my son. I struggled with infertility for 6 years. We started trying almost immediately after we got married in 2003. And we didn't have him until 2009, where we had to do rounds of IVF to actually conceive him. So when I had my son, I was currently an esthetician and a makeup artist, but I was closing my business. I wasn't sure what the heck I was going to do, but I fell in love with photography. And within 6 months, I started Milk and Honey Photography. And I didn't even know anything about running a photography business. I just knew that I loved my son so much. And if I love my son this much, other moms must love their children that much. And I wanted to be able to capture this fraction of time for these mamas that, 12 days old, a 12-day-old baby is never going to be 12 days old again. And I get to spend that day with that baby to commemorate and celebrate and leave that legacy for that family. And I get to pour my heart and my love into that session with them. So that kind of just like snowballed into this business called Milk and Honey Photography. And then I started getting all these emails from all these photographers around the world, wondering how I was doing my editing and my posing and my lighting. And then a good friend of mine said, well, why don't you just like create something online and sell it? So then, like, this is back in 2012, where there really wasn't any online educational platforms, especially in the photography industry at that time. And she said, well, why don't you create something? And I was like, well, I don't know how to do that. And she's like, well, I know how to do that. And I said, perfect, you're my business partner. And we have been together for 12 years. We literally have never had a fight. She is like my soulmate marriage partner for business. I adore her so much. And it's just been this beautiful, like, path that we've gone on together to create this incredible company where we now create these online events where we're teaching photographers around the world, posing, lighting, editing, business, all bringing in expert educators to help them just be the best business people and artists and people. And it's just been like this crazy road. So that's kind of like nutshell my story, I guess. But it's been fun and it's been a wild ride.
Oh, I love that. I mean, it's such an important message for entrepreneurs to know that it is a process. It is an up and down, back and forth, side to side. What isn't working? What is working? Okay, let's do more of that. Okay, let's do more of that. And there's so much learning along the way.
Oh my gosh. Like, it's funny because I've been asked on other podcasts, they're like, well, what's your biggest business mistake or your biggest failures? And I've talked about this before, and I'm like, I don't really think of them as failures. I kind of just feel like, okay, well, what do we need to tweak? What did we learn from this? And then we just move on from there. Like, I don't actually think of them as something I ever really feel bad about. It's just like, that was a lesson. Try not to do that again. Pick yourself up and let's go.
Absolutely. And what an incredibly, inspirational mindset to have, because I think, a lot of people get triggered when they feel like they've failed.
Yeah.
And in truth, like you said, like, as long as you're learning that lesson, that lesson becomes a part of your success story.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, we've had tons of things that haven't worked out, tons. But it's like, well, we've had tons of things that have.
Yeah.
And so I'm not gonna, like, I don't know. I just don't really dwell on the things that haven't worked out. I'm more excited about what I'm going to do next.
Yeah, I know. And I love that about you. You're so inspirational that way, because you always have new creative ideas.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about your process a little bit, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs have spurts of creative inspiration, right? But you and we've talked about this, like, we're in the flow of creativity all the time.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about how you create that for yourself.
I think that I had to come to terms with the fact that business is actually creative, because I used to think that I'm not a good business person. I'm not smart enough to do this. Like, I would go to conferences and I would shrink. And we would join masterminds and I wouldn't speak up, even though I had the knowledge. I was so scared of my voice and of being wrong or just being embarrassed, like I didn't belong there. And I think over time, I just kind of had to realize that to be in your creative flow is part of just being yourself. And and that's one thing my mom has said about me my entire life. Lisa, you look at the world differently than everybody else does. You think differently. And I used to think like, I'm not the same as everybody, and that's not good. And then I was like, well, actually, maybe that's awesome. Maybe I think I can see something other people can't. I can see an opportunity where other people see an obstacle. I can see the forest through the trees. Like I can see the long range plan of where we're going to go and how we're going to get there. And I feel like that has helped me so much in just my personal confidence in myself and just embracing that creativity as a business person and being like, you know what? Business is creative. We're going to play with this. We're going to see what happens. And if you take that seriousness off of being such a business person and wearing the business hat and you say, is this fun? Am I enjoying what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Is this good for me? Does this feel good in my body when I'm doing these tasks or I'm creating this business? Because if it doesn't really, what is the point?
Yeah.
Because that's my business partner. That is our business plan. When it's no longer fun, we're no longer doing it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the secret sauce, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. I love what you're saying. And if you are listening, this right here is gold. So stop doing other things and sit and listen to what Lisa is saying. It's really about releasing that judgment of right or wrong and moving towards what is creating that feeling of joy and anticipation and being able to have that mindset of figuring it out, knowing that the solution is always going to be presented.
Really? And have I always been this way? No. When you met me 2 years ago, like Mollie and I actually first met because I was working with her and I was really struggling with a lot of personal issues. I was struggling with owning my power. I was struggling with a lot of blocks, a lot of grief that I was dealing with from my infertility journey, and really owning my success. I felt like it had happened to someone else and it wasn't to me. And so through our work, I feel like the confidence that I currently have now is a lot due to the work that we did together to get rid of a lot of those things and these wrong beliefs that I had about myself. So I think like that's just a testament to you as a coach and how you work with your clients, because I was a client of yours.
Aw, thanks, honey. This little plug there.
I mean, you're the tits.
Oh my goodness, I love you so much. But the testament, the work, you did the work. The way I work with my clients is very intuitive. It's very each person is different. And so like I don't sell a process with my one-on-one clients because there is no process with my one-on-one clients. And when you came into each session, you were willing to show up. You were willing to follow me into the depths of where you were blocked. So, I may have been your guide, but girl, you did the work. Do
you remember when I came over and I was like, when are we going to start doing shadow work? And you're like, dude, we've been doing it the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh, exactly. I felt like it was like bigger than it was.
Yeah, no. And that's the misconception about a lot of the work that I do, is that it has to be painful. It has to be, uncomfortable. And I don't believe in that. I believe that healing can be a gentle, loving process. When you show up and you commit to doing the work every day and you do the little bits of unraveling every day, right? Hey, I don't want to throw my clients into the fire. That's not how I work. Yeah. No. You said that you were feeling stressed. You felt you were having some blocks, and now now that you're in this place, I've seen you expand. I've seen you come back into this passion. So what do you think are your personal practices that help you maintain this creative flow and maintain your ability to show up and be the amazing Lisa every single day?
I think before I didn't recognize when I was tapped. And I think that I would push through instead of pause. And I
Yes.
think that now, like you and I, like we talk every single day. Like, and because I will say, like, Mollie, I'm tired. I'm like, I'm this and that. And then you're like, okay, well, what do you need to do? And I'm like, well, probably just take the afternoon off and go have a bath. And before I wouldn't do that. I would be like, I'd sit at my desk, I'd get this stuff done. And I didn't realize the toll it was taking on me, depleting myself by giving so much.
Mhm.
And now I hold back. I leave more for me.
Yes.
Like it's so true when that cliche quote about putting your oxygen mask on first. And that's really what I've had to start doing. Like we talked, I had a situation yesterday when I was like not having the awesomest day. And I went home, and instead of doing the things for my family, I went home and I did the things for me that I needed to have. And I am a different person today because I took care of myself first. It's not
Yes.
that I'm neglecting my family. They have everything they need and everything is done that they need to have done. I just need to remember that I need to take care of me. And that's something I was never doing before. I was overbooking myself. I was not charging enough. Taking a year sabbatical from my photography business has really been transformational on how I'm spending my time, how I'm living my life, and how I am even with my family. Like I am so much more present. My home life is much more calm because I'm not running around with my hair on fire. So
Mhm.
it's just been like, I think the biggest change needs to be is just making sure that you're aware of where your burnout is starting to happen and realizing that you need that deep rest or that deep self-care before you get there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's so important and such a wonderful message for all the mothers and women out there because we're conditioned generationally to be givers.
Yeah.
And the giving is, and I guess this is for men too. Men can be givers because giving is a feminine energy. And it is, if we don't have those energetic boundaries around what we're willing to give, we become depleted. It's like having a glass of water with water being filled into it all the time and then having holes in it,
Yeah.
right? Like there's nowhere for the water to be held, the container to be held.
Yeah.
Yeah, so powerful, so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful message. So, what are your core beliefs then, now that you've come into this time of your life around your business and how do they contribute to your success?
Well, number one, I need to be having fun. I'm a manifest, I'm a Manny-gen. Like I'm a manifest generator. My purpose on this planet is to create joy, to spread joy, to be in joy. And so if I'm doing things that aren't bringing me joy, I am not in alignment with my life's purpose. So it's stripping away things that aren't bringing me joy. Recently, we had a Facebook community of over 20,000 people. And to be honest, like that sounds amazing, right? That sounds amazing, but it wasn't. It felt like dead weight. It didn't feel like the right audience. It didn't feel like the engaged, happy, uplifted people that I want to serve. So we made the decision earlier last week that we were going to just press pause on that group. And I have way other ways, many, many other ways that I serve my communities in different paid for groups that we have. And I can focus more of that attention on them and serve them there. And
Mhm.
so I think like sometimes you just got to look at what is serving you, if you're happy, if you're enjoying it. Um, yeah, I think just like, and there's been times where if things start to feel like a have to, not a get to,
Mhm.
then I don't think I want to do that. I don't want, like, we actually had um, it was called the Art and Soul Academy. It was a community that we'd created for photographers on your art, your business, and you. We had about 500 members, and it was a rolling membership. And it wasn't for me. Membership wasn't for me. And we had done the work. We had gone to all of like the best well-known, like Stu, who runs Tribe, who like we went and we were in masterminds all about memberships. But at the end of the day, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel in alignment. Felt like I was constantly chasing doing things. And that's not how I want to feel. I want to feel like my life is a get to. The things that I do, the way I show up for my community are things that I get to do, not things that I have to do.
Yes.
And so when you're looking at things like that, yeah, I think that just, does it bring me joy? Is this a direction that I want to be going in my business? Is this a direction that I'm going to be creating the most good? Am I going to be uplifting and empowering and educating students to really like be excited about what they're doing and they're learning in their lives? And if it's not, then maybe that's not the right direction for me. And that's okay. That's okay. Because I'm going to find another one, because something else I will have an idea and it will create joy, and I'll go with that.
Oh, I love that. It's just what you're talking about here are levels of energy, right? Your should energy is down here. It's in obligation. It feels like there's resistance in your body. It doesn't feel good. Whereas I get to do something, you get excited about it. You feel anticipation about it. It's a totally different vibration in your body.
Yeah.
And all because you gave yourself permission to say no.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if I've shared with you this crazy story that I have about have to and get to energy. And it was back in, I think, 2018. So I had joined a women in business mastermind, and I actually don't think I've ever talked about this publicly. But yeah, we joined a women in business mastermind with Sir Richard Branson. And so part of it was we were supposed to go to Necker Island, but unfortunately, Necker Island was completely destroyed. There was a hurricane and it was completely obliterated. So that was pressed on pause. So in the interim, they said, okay, well, you're going to come to Necker Island once we rebuild, but first you can come to Africa. You can go to Africa. You're invited to come to Africa. And you're invited to come to Africa. And so we started planning it. We started planning this trip. We were going to stay at Richard Branson's place in Africa. There was about 20 of us going to go, all women with, multi-figure businesses, very excited about going. But then I found out it was going to be falling on Halloween. And Halloween is a very special time for my family. I have one child, one son, and taking him trick-or-treating every year, my family, my husband and I both dress up. My son would dress up, and we go as a family. It was something that was very, very special to us. And it was falling when Halloween was happening. And that trip, that should have been the trip of a lifetime, started to feel like a have to and not a get to.
Yeah.
And so I ended up saying, no, I'm not going to go on this paid trip to go to Richard Branson's private wildlife reserve, because my priority is spending time with my family. And that's what I value.
Yeah.
So that's like, it's funny. It doesn't make sense logically. Like if I'm like on my path to success, I should be like shooting for the stars, going to Richard Branson's. But you know what? That's collateral damage along the way, is the memories with my son. And I don't want that.
Yeah. And that really speaks to your level of integrity, Lise, like what you're willing to let go of to maintain your alignment with your values. And I know that your family is so important to you. So that, to me, that doesn't make any sense. It's not surprising at all that you would make that choice.
Thanks. It was, it wasn't actually that hard of a choice at the end of the day, because I knew what my value, what my highest value was, and that was my family.
Yeah. Definitely. You were exactly where you were meant to be.
Yeah. And we had a wicked Halloween. We dressed up. It was so fun. My husband dressed up as Darth Vader, and I was Princess Leia.
And I remember that.
Right. He was walking around with his phone with like, and the kids were just like enthralled with him. And my son was like Luke Skywalker. It was awesome.
Yeah. Halloween is coming up soon. What are you going to dress up for this year?
I don't know if we're dressing up this year. It was like, we stopped doing it around the pandemic, and my son was about 11 and he just didn't want to dress up anymore. And I keep trying to convince them But you know me, like right now I'm in this whole personal project where I dress up almost every month in a different outfit. So I'm like filling my cup that way. And I do these personal projects where I photograph myself in ridiculous outfits. So
I know.
it's fun.
If you're listening to this and you don't follow Lisa on social media, like you have to follow Lisa on social media because her personal projects are amazing. Oh my goodness. She just did one with what is her name? I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
Literally, I saw it on Instagram and I kept scrolling because I didn't even recognize her.
It's so funny. I mean,
I saw her on TikTok and I was like, wait a minute, that's Lisa. It was amazing. You looked exactly like Lucy. It was amazing.
Thank you. I finally used some of my makeup skills.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So good. One of the things that I love about you as a business owner is the fact that you are so team oriented. You and your team are so closely connected and you work so well together. Can you tell us a little bit about how you attracted this amazing team and how you think it impacts your business?
Well, we are a small but mighty team. We probably have, I think we have 5 or 6 members on our team at this point. But we have Corinne, who's basically, we call her our unicorn. And we met her and then created the job around her. We knew we needed someone and we wanted to hire someone local. And she has been with us, I think, for 3 years now. And then obviously my business partner, Erin, who we read each other's minds. So that's easy. But I think it's about being a conscious and kind leader. And it's always about, if there is an issue with the team, it's like, how can I make your job easier? How can I improve my communication? How can I do better to help you do the best job you can do? I don't get mad at if someone screws up, I don't get mad. I say, okay, well, let's fix this. Like, how did I contribute to this? Did I do anything? What do you need from me? Am I the bottleneck? Like, where is the breakdown here? And if someone messes up, you don't rub their nose in that. Just say, okay, well, they're probably not going to do it again next time. That's fine. Did you learn something from it? Cool. It's kind of like parenting for me. Like
Yeah.
it's, like it's kind of the same way I parent. It's like you got to do it with love. You have to expect the best from everybody. You have to expect that they're trying their hardest, right? And you look for the good.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at everything through that lens, you're going to attract those people.
Yeah, 100%.
And we value them. We value them so much. Like I would never throw a team member under the bus. Like I will always, like if I mess up, I'm going to say I mess up, right? Like I'm fine with making mistakes.
Yes.
I hate when I see, like, you see people get canceled and it's like, oh, my team member did that. Well, no, ultimately you were responsible for what that team member put out. So no, that is still your responsibility, right? You have to take radical responsibility for your company.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a reflection of your of your ability to lead, Lisa, not only in your team, like you said, but as a mother, as a woman. I think the moment we open our mouth, we become leaders because our words impact the people around us.
Absolutely.
And we can either impact from that high level consciousness that you are so beautifully embodying and showing everybody, or we can lead from that scarcity mindset, that judgment, that lack place. And one pushes people away and one magnetizes people to you. And you just so beautifully articulated the latter. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Such a dork.
You come on my show, you better be ready for compliments.
Thank you.
So tell us what is coming up next. What projects and goals do you have maybe for 2024?
So 2024, we have first of all, we've got the online newborn retreat. So basically what this is it's an online conference that we bring like 26 of the most well-known maternity and newborn photographers. And I produce this online event where we have them all teach a segment, whether it be on maternity, newborn, lifestyle, video, all sorts of different genres. I have a very, very niche business where we attract a very targeted clientele. And I love that. I think that has really, I stay in my lane that way. It's fantastic. So we do that. And we typically will have about anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 students that we will have on board in January. And then I've got another one called the Family Retreat, which is a very similar style where we're doing more of a family and baby and child photography. I also have a business retreat that we'll be doing in September, focusing on the business side of photography and how to just improve what's working now as far as marketing, SEO, web design, graphic design, email marketing, all those things that photographers don't love doing. So and definitely geared towards the photographers, newborn and family portrait photographers. And then I have all sorts of other little ideas up my sleeve. I've always got something that I'm working on the back burner that I'm always terrified and I never release. But that's okay. And I'm doing like a million different personal projects where I'm photographing myself. I've got some stuff coming in the mail where I'm going to be doing a Marilyn Monroe shoot. We're going to do where I'm going to be diamonds are a girl's best friend, all in pink. Basically, I just am going to let myself play and find out what delights me and let myself explore. And for me, the money always seems to follow when I follow my joy.
Absolutely. 100%. When you are aligned like Lisa is, the money just comes. She is such a great example of living the money codes because she's not focusing on the end result. She's focusing on the joy and the journey. Thank you so much for modeling that. That's so beautiful.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. All right, Lise, we're going to do some fun. Let's do a speed round as fast as you can answer. Are you ready? Oh, I wish I had like a timer. That'd be fun. Okay, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
It's a good question. Probably the ability to generate as much wealth as I could as quickly as possible.
Well, girl, and so it is. I love it. Beach vacation or mountain getaway?
Beach, baby. I'm a water baby. I'm a Scorpio.
I know you are. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Favorite comfort food?
Favorite comfort food? Oh, I know it's said pho, but I call it pho.
Yeah.
I love that. In fact, I may go get that for lunch.
I was just going to say, that sounds like a really great lunch deal. Cats or dogs?
Cats, obviously.
No.
I have 3 Maine Coons and they are massive.
They are. They're poor Hammy. I don't know if you guys know who Hammy is. Hammy's my dog. He is afraid of her cats. It's pretty funny. Last movie you watched and loved?
Well, I rewatched The Notebook the other day. I always watch it when I need a good cry. Yep. And About Time. I love About Time so much when I need a good try.
Girl, I have not seen that movie. I just found out about that movie the other day.
Oh my gosh. It will blow your mind. You will...
I know. That's what everybody keeps saying.
Like even my husband cries in that movie. And sometimes when we both need like just to have a cry, I just put it on and like don't tell him and let him cry.
Maybe that's why I haven't watched it, because I knew I would cry and I didn't want to.
I haven't watched A Star Is Born because I don't want to cry in that movie. Oddly, I don't know why, because I'm fine with crying.
I love that movie. So good. Early bird or night owl?
I feel like I'm neither. I feel like I'm like, I don't know, a day dove.
A day dove. Oh, I love it. Good one. I like it. If you could time travel, where and when would you go?
If I could time travel, where and when would I go? Oh, that's a good question. Probably back to like Hitler time and figure out how to assassinate him. Save a whole bunch of people, maybe.
All right. That's surprising to me. I would have totally seen you going back to like the Victorian age.
No, I feel like I would like, if I had that one shot, I would do like who hurt the most people, and I would take out who hurt the most people.
Right. Okay. I mean, I feel like that's a whole conversation, right? Like, contemplating that. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Go-to karaoke song. You know what's funny is I always ask this question on my podcast too, but I don't actually know. Probably maybe your song or Vienna. Maybe Vienna by Billy Joel. That's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, Vienna's a good one. Sweet or savory snacks?
Savory.
Yummer. I'm getting hungry. It's definitely lunchtime. And last question, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Richard Branson. And I did that. Just kidding. Living or dead?
Whatever you want.
I would say Britney Spears, because I would just like to know that she is okay.
Yeah.
Like, I am heavily invested in Britney Spears. And I just want to know that like it's really her and she is okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that feeling.
Yeah. I just want to like go give her a hug and like mom her a little bit and like
I know, right?
For some soup.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
just give her a safe place to hang for a while.
Right? Yeah. Like we don't have to grab the paparazzi. It's fine. Like you're safe.
I mean, she could come to Kamloops. Nobody would even know she was here.
No.
Right? She'd just be another girl.
You're Brittany.
If you're watching, Brittany, we got you, girl.
Won't tell a soul. Right?
No, we'll take you. Oh. I was just gonna say we'll take you into the forest and have a good time, but that if you're
that sounds terrible.
That sounds really awful.
We will not do that.
No. Get permission first.
Oh, so funny.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm sure we could like laugh and giggle for so long. So I very much appreciate you being here. I love you. Where can people find you if they want to experience your awesomeness?
Well, I have the podcast The Art and Soul Show, which is definitely geared to photographers and creatives, but we definitely talk more about the woo side. We talk about business, entrepreneurship, mindset, and just being your best self, honestly. So you can find us on Spotify, on Apple, and you can find us at themilkyway.ca.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lisa. Love you. Mwah. And we'll see everybody else next week. Have a beautiful week, my friends. We'll talk to you later.